There are growing concerns over the future of one of Manchester United's hottest and youngest prospects, Harry Amass. The young left-back is increasingly sidelined by the current regime under the tutelage of Ruben Amorim, yet in the hands of the previous manager, Erik ten Hag, Amass was nearly knocking on the door of his senior debut. What exactly is left of this youngster who so many people love and we saw play during preseason, and clearly he was one in the making? Welcome to the United Sport. My name is Webb, and here again we are to focus this time on the youngins at Man United. There's quite a number of them, trust you me, and certainly we will be looking into them one after the other. But this episode is exactly dedicated to Harry Amass, the 17-year-old Englishman. Now, of course, you do recall, guys, that when Manchester United signed Harry Amass in 2023, it was a battle, and we celebrated because we had beaten Chelsea to his signature. This boy was wanted by so many clubs, but Chelsea were our biggest rivals in trying to pen him down from Watford. But we signed him, and quickly, of course, he goes on to establish himself in the under-18s, was an integral part, that is, of the under-18 treble-winning team. He went on to play for the under-21s. He made 4 appearances with the English under-18 team, won 4 cups for himself. He was certainly a boy on the rise. And with injuries to both Tyrell Malaysia and Luke Shaw, it looked clear that Harry Amass's time was coming. No wonder Erik ten Hag, you do recall, during preseason had put him in the team, and he played 2 interesting games. The best performances I think we saw from him were against Real Betis, if you recall, in preseason, and against Arsenal. This boy was it. We said, this is it. The boy has arrived. Yet, we get into the season, he knocks on the door, put on the bench in an FA Cup game. It should have been against Wigan. Put on the bench, I think, against Liverpool as well in the Premier League. And he felt he's knocking on the door of his senior debut of the senior team. But until today, the boy is normal. Yet, when Ruben Amorim arrived at Man United, he was very interested in watching Amass. In fact, it is said, and we saw images and videos of him watching the under-18s, and he was impressed by this boy. But what exactly is keeping him away from making his senior debut, or at least coming off the bench to just warm up, probably with the seniors, and maybe come in for 3 minutes in a Carabao Cup game before we got ejected? What is going on? It's looking now, and reports are coming out imminently to suggest that Harry Amass could be sent out on loan, with several clubs interested, including Aston Villa, because Man United feel, after Ruben Amorim watching him play, they feel he needs more time to be developed. And now they are making moves to sign in new left backs. We do know that Man United is already linked to several. Milos Kakies, you can mention Kakies from Bournemouth. You can talk of Nuno Mendes from PSG. Already, again, United has already agreed and signed a 17-year-old, same age mate, from all the way from Paraguay, who has tested senior football for Cerro Porteño. That is Diego Leo, who is expected to join the club in 2025. So clearly it shows you that the young Harry Amass is falling off increasingly in the pecking order. So what does that mean? Is there a future for Harry Amass? So what is likely now is that as early as this July, Man United could be contemplating loaning out Harry Amass to Aston Villa. And I honestly, it would feel bad because we love him, we saw him, and like I said, he has proven that he can be decent in the few games he's played for United. You look at his hit map there, and you see he looks like the player who should fit exactly into what Ruben Amorim is trying to play. And that's why he got interested in him, to try and see him. His hit map is of a disciplined winger. You can see him there on the screen, how he roams the wing, goes forward and comes back, but does not really go into the final third. You look at where the red is, that's his focus area in his playing style. He focuses more on his half, so he's more defensive. So probably Amorim is looking at someone who can give him something more in terms of attack. We don't know. We are not sure what exactly he's looking for. But as it looks now, guys, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. It is highly likely that this young Harry Amass is going to be sent out on loan to go on with his development. And at first this will sound painful, but guys, let's sit back and recall what happened with Amad Diallo, our hottest player currently. Brought in for a lot of money, big prospects, high expectations, big anticipation, but we kept loaning him out. Sunderland, and everywhere. I think even Rangers, he went to, he must have gone to Rangers as well. We kept loaning him out until he came of age, and right now he's our hottest player. So for me, whereas it might be painful, the fact that I trust Ruben Amorim and his eye and what he can do with a young player, I think he perhaps feels there is something still lacking in him, and if he sends him out on loan, maybe with time he will come back and play. One of the weaknesses that this boy has, and it's even in his own admission, of course it's a natural thing, he's quite diminutive in his nature, but his technical skills make up for his lack of size. Whatever he lacks in size, technically he makes up. But here we are having Man United signing a 17-year-old Diego Leon, who is extremely physical. He's so robust. His biggest strength is his physicality. So it is possible that the current team feels they need a profile of a player who is a little more physical, and we've seen it with Ruben Amorim's teams. They probably want a player who is more physical in that position, and they don't quite see that in the young Harry Amass, despite him having all these technical abilities. So that's where we are. So it's very probable that Harry Amass could be loaned out, but what will happen after that, we can only wait to see. But the competition in that department is going to be increasingly high. But also do recall that it's a critical position in the system that Ruben Amorim loves to play, the 3-4-2-1 formation. So it was always going to be difficult for a player as small as Harry Amass to excel in such a system. It was always going to be difficult. It will take growth and development for him to get there. But for now, I think Ruben Amorim is for physique, and that's why Diego Leo is ahead of him in the pecking order. But on top of Diego Leo, they are going to sign another more murky left back to join the team and bolster. At the end of the day, guys, again, like I keep saying, you can't write off a 17-year-old kid. It's good they're not planning to sell him. They want to loan him out. So let's wait and see what exactly is going to happen, whether this January, because that's what the reports say, that as early as this January, they could be loaning him out. Let's wait and see what will happen when January comes. It's just next week. Or actually this week, because the week starts on Sunday. So we'll see what happens, whether in this winter transfer window is going to be loaned out, and when that happens, what is going to be left of that department. So guys, that's the situation with Harry Amass and Manchester United. My name is Webb. This is the United World Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. And of course, we'll keep talking more about these kids. Of course, it's painful because seeing that a team like Arsenal is promoting young kids. By the way, Arsenal is getting ahead of us in terms of promoting some of these young kids. By this, in last season, we are ahead of them, but perhaps that was because we are forced into it by injuries. And I think it's the nature of football, because I think even Arsenal giving a chance to Lewis Skelly is because of injuries to Calafiori and Ben White and what have you. So that lack of individuals, seniors, forced Mikel Arteta to give a chance to this young Lewis Skelly, who I think is one of currently the most exciting youngster in the English Premier League. So Arsenal are giving these youngins opportunities. So it might be a bit painful to see that Harry Amass was knocking on the door, but Skelly comes out of nowhere and he goes ahead of him. You can imagine what goes on in his head. But guys, I do trust in Ruben Amorim and his eye for talent, and I feel if he doesn't think Harry Amass is ready, perhaps there is something missing. Despite Erik ten Hag telling us that in about 3 months from the preseason, if you recall, he said in about 3 months he could be ready to make a senior debut. Until now, we are yet to see it. Ten Hag is no more, but Man United is moving forward, we believe. Subscribe, and let me catch you later. Cheers.